everybody, it's Ashley with Posh Crochet Patterns. Today's tutorial, we are going to learn how to make this really easy, really nice crochet eye mask. Look at that. I even took some needle and thread and put in little stars and a little constellation. This yarn is perfect for this project. It is super soft. I've already tried this on. It's lightweight, so it's not heavy and bulky. It is so soft and it stretches. It stretches so nicely. Now this eye mask, this is made with Tunisian crochet, but it's very easy and simple. And I also made a crochet pouch for your eye mask, which this is made with regular crochet. It's very nice. It stretches out. It's got ruffles. It's got this nice strand here so we can close it up nicely. This is very nice. And the mask fits in it perfectly. And then we just close it up. So the yarn I chose to make this with is Roll With It Sparkle. It's a RedHeart yarn, and it's in the color Opal. And with this yarn skein, it comes in a cake, and it has a lot of different colors. So it had this like pinkish brown color. It had a light gray, a darker gray. It also had a light blue, a dark blue. It also had a teal color, so it comes with a lot of colors to choose from. I did run out of this pinkish brown, so I just used the light gray and just picked up where I left off and finished it up. But I think it's very pretty. It's very comfortable and nice. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And the hook size that I used for this pattern is a 4mm. See if I can get this to focus here. There we go. It's a 4mm G6. This is a Lion brand wooden bamboo hook. And I also use this same hook for the eye mask, for the Tunisian crochet. I also used a yarn needle to stitch up the sides of the pouch and to stitch on the straps. I just used regular sewing needle and thread, and I used regular sewing needle and thread to make these stars and the little star constellation. So that is what you'll need for this project. And you can use the same yarn I used and just pick two different colors or a different color yarn. This yarn is like a light 3 weight. So that is what I would use for a substitution, is a category 3 lightweight yarn. So we will start with the eye mask, and I am going to start with this color for the eye mask. to 0, and once I complete row 1, then I will move it up to row 1. So to begin, we will make a slip knot with our 4mm G6 hook. We will insert our hook into that loop, and to begin, we will chain 17 chains. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So we already have our first loop going through our first chain here. So we will go into that second chain, yarn over, and pull up a loop. And we will do this for each chain across, just like before when I demonstrated for you, taught you how to do this. So that is what we'll do. We are doing our forward pass for row 1. We have 17 chains, so we need 17 loops on our hook. And you'll do fine, I promise. And if you make a mistake, it's okay. It's all right. More than likely, it won't make a big difference in changing how the eye mask looks. Now, what do we do for the first stitch of our return pass? We yarn over and only pull through one loop. And what do we do for the rest of the chains to complete the return pass? We yarn over and we pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. We just keep repeating this process, just like before. I need more yarn slack, so I'm just going to pinch this stitch here and pull on my yarn ball for my yarn slack. I'm just going to keep repeating that process to complete row 1. completed row 1. So I need to write down I did row 1. Or take this stitch marker and do that. So I know I completed row 1. Now we're going to do row 2. So I already have my first loop on my hook. So I don't need to do anything with that first stitch here. So now I need to go into that second stitch. So don't mind these bottom chains here and don't mind these top chains. What we're looking for are those 2 vertical bars. Okay? So there's our gap. There we go. There we go. We can see that good now. So I'm going to go right between that. I'm going to go at an angle. Just like that. I'm going to grab that yarn and pull up a loop. I'm going to go through that bar and through that gap. Pull up a loop. Just repeating that same thing. Through that bar and through that gap. Pulling that loop up. There we go. I'm going to go this next one through that bar, through that gap. Pull that up. It's my next vertical bar, so I'm going to go in the middle of that bar, through that gap. Through that bar and 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 that gap. Through that bar and that gap. That bar and that gap. Through that bar and that gap. Just pull that up. Through that bar and that gap. Now I'm on my last stitch, so I'm going to go through that bar and behind that loop. So now it looks like I have a chain with 2 loops. But that's my back bar. So that's how I know I'm doing that right. Okay. Now we need to count them. Okay. We want to make sure that we have 17 loops on our hook. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now, if you're having a hard time using the 4mm hook, then switch back to the 6mm hook. okay? And that way you get the hang of it, okay? Because it is easier using a larger hook because you can see the vertical bars better. So that's fine. Go ahead and switch to the 6mm hook if you feel more comfortable and you feel like that you can do it better or easier. Go ahead and do that. Your eye mask here, even if it's a little wider, you know, it's not going to look bad, you know, because if you think about it, this is a pretty small eye mask. It will cover up, you know, from your, say, your bridge of your nose, and this will go to your eyebrows, you know. But even if it's a little bit taller and it goes to the middle of your forehead, it'll still look very nice. So if you feel more comfortable using that 6mm hook, then go ahead and do that. So we know that we completed row 1. We did our forward pass and our return pass to complete row 1. So now we did our forward pass for row 2. So now we need to complete row 2. And what do we do for our return pass for our first stitch here? We yarn over and only pull through 1 loop. And for each loop after that, we will yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And that's what we will do all the way across. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And then once we're done, we need to either write it down or use our stitch marker counter, row counter, I mean. And we are going to continue to do the same thing for a while. We are going to continue to repeat row 2 till we complete row 15. So I'm just going to finish this row up. You pull that through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we just completed row 2. So I'm going to turn this to row 2. And we are going to repeat the same process with our 17 chains till we complete row 15. So that's our first stitch here of our vertical bar, so we skip that. Go into that second one there and through that gap and pull up a loop. There's our third stitch. We go through that gap, pull up a loop. There's our next one. So we'll go through that vertical bar and through that gap, pull up a loop. We're doing just the same thing. So our next stitch, so we'll go through that bar and through that gap, pull up a loop. through that bar, through that gap, pull up a loop, through that bar, through that gap, pull up a loop. So our next stitch, through that bar, through that gap, pull up a loop. So you can see that that's the stitch. That's the last stitch I did. So the next one is this next vertical bar here. So I'll go through the middle of that vertical bar and through that gap. Add an angle. Go through that bar and through that gap. Pull up a loop. Sometimes you have to kind of pull it apart to see it. I'm going to go through that bar, through that gap. It's our next stitch. Through that bar and through that gap. It is much easier to see it with the 6mm hook. And like I said, that's fine if that's what you want to use, so you can see it better, being a beginner. Through that bar and through that gap. We're going to go through, and this is our last stitch, through that bar and also under that other loop. So we got what looks like a chain. We will yarn over and pull through that. Now we need to recount to double check, okay? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's perfect. So we got 17 loops on our hook. So we completed all 17 chains, so that's good. Now what do we do for the return pass to finish the row? We yarn over and only pull through one loop. After that, we will yarn over and pull through 2 loops. We will do that again, yarn over and pull through 2 loops for our return pass. And you're just pushing this up to yarn over and sliding it right through. It's very easy. Feels good, especially with this yarn and hook. It's easy to do. Sorry about that. I was trying to get more yarn slack. My yarn ball is tight. We'll just continue doing what we was doing. Yarn over and pull through 2. 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 So we just completed a row. So I'm going to go here and mark it. So we just completed row 3. I'm going to erase these real quick off my table. So we just completed row 3. We are going to repeat this process for the forward pass and the return pass till we complete row 15. And I will meet you back then, and then we will begin to, I believe we will be decreasing. Let's see here. Yes. On row 16, we will decrease. So continue this on until you finish row 15, and I will meet you back then. I have completed row 15, so now we will begin row 16 and begin our decreasing. So for row 16, what we will do is we will continue to do our knit stitch in each chain all the way across for our forward pass, but the last 2 stitches we will knit together during the forward pass. So we already have our first loop from our first stitch on our hook. Going to insert right through there and through that space, pull up a loop. We are going to do this all the way across. Until those last 2 stitches. Almost there. We got 3 stitches left. So what we will do, excuse me, is we will go through this last stitch right through that bar and right through that last stitch there. And then we will yarn over and pull through. So now this is our last stitch. So we decreased by 1. So now we will do our return pass. So we will yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and so on. This is row 16, so we're completing row 16. We decreased by 1 stitch. Okay, so now we need to write that down. We'll grab our row counter here. That way I know I completed 16. Okay, so row 17. Let's see. So we have a total of 16 knit stitches since we decreased by 1. So we started off with 17. Now since we completed row 16, we have 16 knit stitches. So for row 17, we will knit those 16 stitches, so we will not decrease on this row for row 17. So we will just knit all 16 stitches, just like we did before. And we got our last stitch here. So let's count. Let's make sure we have 16. Awesome, 16. So now we will complete the row by doing our return pass. So we will yarn over, pull through 1, and yarn over and pull through 2 for the rest of the stitches. So this is fairly easy. It's pretty fun too. I really like doing this because it really looks knitted. And I'm not very good at knitting. I don't have the patience for working with knitting needles when I can just whip up some crochet real fast. I enjoy crocheting much more. Okay, so I've just completed a row, so need to do that. Okay, row 18, we will repeat what we did for row 16. So we will decrease in the last 2 stitches during the forward pass. Sometimes these stitches just get a little bit too tight. I'm just going to pull them apart and find that bar and that gap. All right, last 2 right here. And I'm going to recount to make sure that I did this right. Sometimes I even make mistakes. So now I should have 15. Awesome. So now we have 15 stitches. I'm going to yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and finish this row. And this will curve up on you, just like knitting. But when we're done, we are going to go all the way around it with slip stitch. That way it won't curve up on us. And that's what I did with this one right here. So this doesn't curve at all, and that's because I slip stitched going all the way around it. All right, I just completed a row 18. All right, row 19. We will not decrease. We will just knit these 15 stitches. Sorry if that's rolling up on the camera. I can't really stop that from happening. Well, actually, I might be able to stop that from happening. Hold on. Oops. There we go. All right. Let me make sure I have 15. Okay. I got 15. Let's see. Kind of curious if I can. I'm not really sure if this will work. Oh, no, that's not going to work. Okay, so let's finish this up. I was kind of hoping that I could slide that through and that could work. Okay, so for row 19, we need to make sure we have 15 loops on our hook before we do the return pass. And I already counted mine. I do have 15 loops. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and then continue finishing the return pass. Okay, so we have our curve here where it's curving in and decreasing for the bridge of the nose. And now for row 20, I have 15 knit stitches during forward pass, but for return pass, yarn over and pull through stitch number 15, 14, and 13. Then continue regular return pass. After that, we will have 13 stitches after return pass. So for row 20, we are going to decrease by 2 stitches. So let's see, so we're going to knit a regular forward pass for all 15 stitches. One, two, well technically we have 3, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. So I have 15. Now I have written down here that we are going to decrease, so we are going to yarn over. So this is row 20, and I just did a regular forward pass. I have 15 stitches, 15 loops on my hook. Now we are going to decrease right here in these first 3, which is 15, 14, and 13. So I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through all 3 loops of 15, 14, and 13. Okay. Now we are going to do our regular from here on down. So we're going to yarn over. We are going to pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Just finishing row 20. And that now gives us 13 stitches. Let me show you this nice curve here that we got going on. Just going to stretch that out. So we got a nice curve for the bridge of our nose, just like right here. We are right here. This is where we are at. So let's finish this thing up. Oh, almost forgot. Oops. So there we go. Just finished row 20. Now, row 21, we will knit all 13 stitches. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. You'll see these 3 right here that we joined. So let's see. We'll just go right through those 3 plus that back loop. So it'll be like 4 loops right there. That way it'll be a nice clean pinch. Okay. So let's count. We should have 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, awesome. Now we're going to do a regular return pass. So we're going to yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and continue finishing up row 21. This is looking great. Look at that. Perfect curve for the bridge of the nose. This is going to look great. It's going to look really, really good. All right, let's go ahead and fix our stitch marker. We completed row 21. All right, now let's see here. Row 22, knit across till stitch number 11. Yarn over, pull loop through in between stitch 11 and 12, then knit stitch 12. Pull another loop through in between stitch 12 and 13, then knit stitch 13. Okay, so now we are going to increase. Okay, so we are going to increase on the forward pass. So we will knit across till stitch number 11. We will yarn over, pull loop through. So we'll knit across and complete all the way till stitch 11. We'll complete stitch 11. And then that gap in between stitch 11 and 12, we'll yarn over and pull loop through there. Basically, we'll be pretending that there's a stitch there. We're creating a stitch there. So let's do this. All right, so we're going to count. So we already got our first loop here. So we're going to go in. Okay, so that's 2. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. That's 6. That's 7. Oops. 8. 9. 10. Here's 11. All right, so I just completed 11. This gap, go right in there, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Okay. Now it says the knit stitch 12, so here's 12. So we'll knit stitch 12. And we're going to go in between. So here's our last stitch, 13. So this gap right here in between 12 and 13. Pretty sure. Double check. Gotta flip my page over. Yep, pull another loop through in between 12 and 13, then knit 13. After that, we'll have 15 loops on our hook. Awesome, 2 increases. Yep, so I was right. So we'll pull that loop through that gap, and now we're going to go into there we go. Stitch 13, yarn over, and draw up a loop. So let's make sure we got 15 loops. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Awesome. Okay, here we go. Now we're increasing. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to pull through 1 like normal. Yarn over, pull through 2. 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 Yarn over, pull through 2, and so on. And just let you guys know, I'm going to have to do a part 2 of this video. I've got 3 videos of this that I got to merge together. Hopefully I got enough space to do that. So we're going to leave off right here on finishing stitch number 22. And then just pick up on part 2, please. Thank you all. Just make sure you pick up on part 2 video to finish the eye mask and the pouch for the eye mask.